think 𝗂𝗵𝗶 has showed us throughout this tournament that they are well-versed in how to use weird stuff, so maybe they won't be bamboozled by the Taifu, but we'll have to see what happens here.
Yeah, we will see indeed, because I'm pretty sure each of these tamers caught each other's games, right? I think they were done by the time we were spectating. So 𝗂𝗵𝗶 has to have some idea how Taifu is accomplishing so much. But interesting enough, maybe he has a different idea of banning Tems, because he doesn't really have an effective way of taking Taifu down. I guess Doom might just be the way, huh?
Yeah, it might be, and unlike most of the teams in this meta, you know, Rishi doesn't look like he's on any purgation users, so it won't be an easy clear for the Doom, so he's gonna have to figure out, you know, a way to make that work for him.
Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to take a little bit of a look. Yeah, purgation is usually the easiest way. Maybe the heater trade on the 𝗂𝗀𝗺 could come in clutch. The hypnosis from the grandpa perhaps might be a way. But we'll see when the time comes. I'm pretty sure MrRishi will try to find a way, because that is the game plan for Gromi, as we saw before. He's just going all out, right? All out on that Doom strat. But you know, funny enough, I believe Rishi was maybe a little bit of an innovator with that Strangle Volgon, so perhaps he feels like he's properly prepared to go up against something like this.
Yeah, and you do see right away he goes for the 𝗬𝗪𝗧𝗧. High likelihood this thing is bait, which means it won't be doomed by neurotoxins, and he's going to go for the grandpa to hopefully speed things up with turbo choreography. And 𝗂𝗵𝗶 doesn't have that fast paced of a team, so trying to get your buffs up, get your 𝗬𝗪𝗧𝗧 online early, and just kind of run him over seems like a pretty good plan to me.
I think so as well. There's always those couple turns, right? Because Doom, the shortest time frame is what, like 3 turns? So yeah, you do have a lot of turns. So I think just putting the pressure on exactly as you said, that might just be the most effective way of taking someone down, or taking someone like 𝗂𝗵𝗶's team down. So we'll see. It looks like secondary bans for Rishi will be that Acronox and 𝗂𝗀𝗆 eliminated from the game. Let's see what Rishi finds to be the most threatening. I wouldn't blame him to be the Volgon, right? Because it does pressure out the grandpa and the 𝗂𝗀𝗺, and then it has all that synergy with the rest of the team.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky ban state for Rishi, because when you're playing this grandpa, you really want to get up to +2 speed or +3 speed and then start sleeping everything, right? You want to start throwing hypnos at stuff, denying your opponent turns. Problem is, half of 𝗂𝗵𝗶's Tems are mental, which you can't even put those Tems to sleep, right? So, as you see, he takes the Focus. I think he might just be looking for mentals to get rid of, so his grandpa hypnosis can do a little more work.
Oh, you're absolutely right. His game plan has in the past been a bit more of a control-y type game plan, which, as you mentioned, comes into play with those hypnosises. So yeah, I like what you're saying. Maybe just eliminating those mental Temtems. That way it's a little bit better, because, you know, there's no mental Temtems getting picked up. So off a full team of mentals, or pretty much a full team of mentals, it's only going to be a single mental Temtem getting picked up. So this doesn't look all that bad. I'm actually just curious how it does pan out, but oh, look at the devil himself. The Taifu does indeed get picked up, so let's see how much it gets done this game in our first round of our quarterfinals.
Yeah, the first few turns here I think are going to be really important for both players. They're both running pretty interesting game plans. Let's see who can get set up first.
Yeah, you know, the Spider often runs things like Thunderstrike, right? So I'm wondering if it has Thunderstrike available to him to just look straight into the grandpa and maybe just try to bring it out as soon as he can. But man, these guys are clicking fast already with the stairs on the Arachnite. And of course, yeah, it's most likely just a nice little heli kick coming in.
Yeah, Rishi going for the acceleration very early. It's good to see. And it does reveal the bait, but it will not give Vigorize because of the plague effect. So smart little play there from 𝗂𝗵𝗶.
And here we go, guys. The Doom game plan has started. So dooming up the grandpa, it does have 1 turn of alert thanks to that stair. So is there a way, we got to start thinking outside the box here. Is there a way for grandpa to remove that Doom in an easy way? You know, I'm already thinking of one. If that is a heater 𝗂𝗀𝗺 as we saw in the past. Oh no, it takes the alert status, right? You can't do a nice little heater trait to take it off.
But if the grandpa were then to use Stair would reapply the alerted and clear the Doom. So Rishi's a pretty experienced player. He's going to have his work cut out for him this game, though. Not a lot of easy Doom clears on his team, so we'll see what he decides to do here.
Yeah, perhaps another kind of game plan is just go pedal the metal, right? Just go full face, just trying to aggro it up and take down these Cycrocs, take down this Arachnite before he could get off some more Doom shenanigans down the road. Because, you know, HKS is online. Of course, he doesn't have any speed as of right now, so I wouldn't put it too past Rishi to try to get some turbos rolling. And, you know, 𝗧𝗵𝗶 does come in. That will be a win synergy turbo. But does that leave Gromi able to maybe doom the other bird? And now you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Because now you have to deal with 2 Doom Temtems. This is looking a bit troublesome for Rishi.
For sure. And I mean, the really effective thing that Gromi has in their game plan is the strangles, right? So now they've got a Doom on something. This Cycrox is almost for sure just going to be strangling a 𝗬𝗪𝗔, strangling the Grandpa, just sitting there, trading turns and letting the Doom do the damage. So Rishi's going to have to be very economical. It wouldn't surprise me if we see Hypnosis come out here from Grandpa to maybe get ahead of that strangle and give him a little more control of the game.
Yeah, I love that. Hypnosis is probably the best bet, right? There's only one Temtem that could doom you this turn, and that is the Cycrox, right? So maybe Hypnosis and the Cycrox might be the best bet. Oh, here we go. The Toukon does come out. So does he go for Hypno? Does he go for Turbo? Let's go ahead and find out.
Interesting swap of the Volgon here, getting a little closer to Ampere Outburst. And there's that morale boosting whip. Stair will cleanse the Doom, so Rishi does get the Doom out of the way right away. And Frogget, oh, it just reapplies it. Here comes the Digi Threat. That's gonna Gromi Momi. It's kind of like this never-ending conveyor belt of Doom, Strangle, and now Rishi's gonna have to, you know, weaponize his Tems a little more here.
Yeah, you know, that was an actual really good swap, right? Because, you know, Gromi Momi most likely read the only easy way of removing the Doom is swapping in the bird right now. So you're swapping in the bird, allowing Gromi to bring in the Volgon virtually for free. Now he's pressuring out both of these Tems. I don't know if he's running Electric Storm, but if he is, he's going to get a massive amount of volume. Or it might just go for a Strangle / Outburst if it is online. We'll see, of course.
I like the defensive swap here just to take the Tornado. This makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of like pivoting room here. There's a lot of Tems on Gromi's team that can either strangle you or pivot in to give Digi-Threat synergy. And you can see like this Tolkien's up the creek without a paddle now, right? Like much like I am here in the north going fishing.
Exactly.
But you know, this Raven is pretty much toasted. It really hasn't accomplished much in this game. It swapped into block a Doom, it threw a Tornado for 20% damage, and now it's about to die. Like, this is tough for Rishi.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I'm wondering maybe just a final Fiery Soul before you have to head out of this game. So trying to preserve that Volgon, trying to keep those Strangles online for down the road. In comes the Zambi, knowing that there's no electric damage. So let's take a look. Does he go? Oh, that makes some sense. Just try to use the Turbo Choreography while you have the Wind Temtem online. But here we go. The heaviest hitting technique from the Toukon will be applied on the OB. And bringing it right down above 40%, so not all that bad.
You know, I don't think I've seen a player put someone on as quick of a Doom clock as Gromi's been doing here. I really like the mentals with the Volgon to get that Digi-Threat synergy. Rishi's Tems are dying to Doom very fast. Like, this Grandpa now just has 2 turns to try and get everything set up. And hopefully, Rishi has, for him at least, Rishi has enough time to get value here. The tough part for Gromi Momi is you press X, like not very many of the Tems are well set up to fight this 𝗬𝗪𝗔, right? Like 𝗬𝗪𝗔 is a problem for Gromi. We'll see how they deal with it.
Oh, 100%. 𝗬𝗪𝗔's effective damage to virtually everything. You know, that minus defense as well might as well just be double damage as well. But, you know, we did see the OBs does run things like harmful microwaves. Those digital techniques will be effective into the 𝗬𝗪𝗔. But 𝗬𝗪𝗔's most likely the speedier Temtem, and one single crystal bite will take it all the way down. Because I believe it's online, right? He stayed in for helicopter kicks, so every crystal technique should be there for him.
Yeah, Rishi has to be a little bit careful, though, just because, again, no bait available for this 𝗬𝗪𝗔. It's going to start running low on stamina the more it clicks its moves, so he has to be careful about pivoting correctly. But it looks like he's going to catch Gromi here. Sharp stabs going right into the zombie. Just enough to KO. Great turn from Rishi there.
Yeah, that was a solid turn, taking full advantage of those 3 priority plays, outspeeding even the Obi, right? Most Obis tend to be pretty speedy. I'm wondering though, 𝗬𝗍, was Bush online? Because he went for the 1 prio burrow, which is why he went last. But I'm trying to think back. What did he do? It was a digi threat. Wasn't it 2 digi threats? So I believe Bush might have been there. Perhaps he's not running it. But we might have seen it.
We've seen him use Bush before. I think, like you said, just maybe expecting the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 to live the HKS a little bit better than it did, so going for the burrow for a bit of a value play. But this is tough now, right? Because this Obi-10 can't use Bush as long as burrow is active on it. Interesting to see what they go for here.
Oh, and it looks like 𝗬𝗍 just trying to put a pause on that neurotoxin 𝗧𝗵𝗺, and while at the same time, you do get that beautiful 𝗧𝗵𝗺 coming in, and you know, another harmful microwave trying to catch the 𝗬𝗧𝗺, but that is another Temtem going down to the hands of Doom. So Gromi tying things up 2-2, or apologies, taking 1 Tem advantage over MrRishi. But those final Temtems still remaining on Rishi's side, they're quite problematic for sure. So now with sleeping 𝗧𝗵𝗺s, it looks like, actually, this is an interesting turn.
I think if you're Rishi, you're looking back on this, though, and you're saying, man, I really wish this was a Tataru instead of the Taifu, because Rishi needs damage, and he needs it fast. This Taifu, if it gets Digi Threat, it's just going to be a little bit too slow to develop its damage, and here comes the morale-boosting whip. Yeah, it looks like 𝗬𝗺𝗆𝗄𝗃 is going to be well-resisted by Volgon, and the Obi-10, yet Rishi just can't hit it, and it's going to put another 2-turn Doom Clock, this time on the roller.
That is right. Maybe Rishi tried to cover all his bases with the Stone Ball, and that he does. 87% out the door, so at the very least, he neglects any kind of forward pressure with those Strangles. But as you mentioned, that is a ticking time bomb. Just 2 more turns remaining. Does Rishi have the tools available with those remaining Temtems? He has a Taifu, he has a Rotor, and he has a 𝗬𝗧𝗺. You know, that 𝗬𝗧𝗺 in the back, as you mentioned before, I think that is low-key the win condition, or maybe even the Taifu looking all right. I just don't think 𝗬𝗵𝗵𝗶 has the time, right? He has the Doom, but he doesn't any longer have that Digi-Threat synergy with those mental Temtems, right? So everything's going to be like on a 4-turn, 3-turn clock. That might just be enough for Rishi to pull it off.
You're right, and the early stare from Rishi matters quite a bit too here. Getting that -2 defense onto Arachnite, it makes it just a little bit easier to deal with. We will see Doom getting applied again here from the Wastewater. So Rishi just doesn't... Yeah, just throwing the Hypoxia. Hopefully this is enough to kind of topple the Frog here. Ooh, not quite. Oh, and a reactive well. Not the best thing Rishi could hope for there.
Yeah, you know, didn't do as much damage as you mentioned as he would hope. But hey, nice little tech there, reactive out on the 𝗧𝗵𝗺s, able to survive a little bit more. But I think Rotor has a final farewell going to impact, almost like the 𝗧𝗵𝗺s. He could decide to swap it out, but you know, you still have to deal with the 𝗬𝗧𝗺. I'm wondering, is there a world where 𝗬𝗧𝗺 can virtually just 1v3? It's going to be tough, but I couldn't put it too past it. Of course, we have to consider that the bait is no longer available to it. So let's see, we definitely have ourselves a game. Let's see if it survives the drill impact. At least it did that. So the willpower drain trying to take care of that stamina there.
That's a really smart swap by 𝗬𝗵𝗵𝗶. Obi-10 can still live. There's an overexertion that goes down, and now they're in a really nice position where Digi-Threat, okay, it's not going to doom the 𝗬𝗧𝗺, but you know what it is going to do? Double damage. Because this 𝗬𝗧𝗺 is weak to it. And Bush is now available, Burrow is now available, and harmful microwaves is available on this Obi-10 as well. So 𝗬𝗵𝗵𝗶 might just switch gears and just destroy the 𝗬𝗧𝗺 with attacks here.
Oh, he could have, right? Harmful microwave, that's 3 priority on that Obi, but it looks like going on the defensive just in case. Let's see if 𝗬𝗧𝗺 pops one of these bamboozles. Popping both of the bamboozles. Well done for the side, but trying to get Digi-Threat. Let's see how much damage is going to be. 87, right a little bit under that 50% marker. The mirroring almost taking down the spider with that reciprocation, but coming back up with the regen. 1 turn clock on the Taifu, and then it's 𝗬𝗧𝗺 versus the world. But oh, wait, a refreshing Diabolo. What is this?
I'm not sure how much that matters. It probably means that Rishi can't use Helicopter Kick this turn to kill both Tems. But So he has to commit Crystal Bite onto Obi. I think 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗵's going to pull off the harmful microwaves into 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵 here. This is a tough turn for Rishi, because if both Spider and Obi-10 land attacks on 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵, it's probably dead, and then that's it for him, so this is a tough turn.
Yeah, you're so right. I think he has to go for Sharp Stab, but the Obi going to be outspeeding 45 down to more than half of that remaining HP. The Spider with the 3 Prio Plague almost taking down the 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵. Wait a minute.
So this C-Bite will kill. I still think this is tough for Rishi, right? He's got the leech. That's going to be enough to bring down Arachnite. It's going to be a standoff here. Cycrox versus 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵. That C-Bite was committed.
Yeah, and he still has a hook kick available to him. I think it might literally be like a tie, but because Rishi gets the kill first, he overexerts to get the kill. What a close matchup. I think the hook kick is more than enough. Unless a +1 speed is fast enough, the hook kick going first, 25.
Pretty beefy. Oh, that was close.
Unbelievable. Coming down to the final single-digit HP. This is what games are made of. Congratulations to Rishi, taking 1 game over Gromi in our quarterfinals.
Bush, Burrow, Digi-Threat, harmful microwaves. That's a really cool example of taking a TEM and kind of customizing it to fit what your team needs it to do. Like, they lost just by 0.4% there. Partly because they had microwaves to attack Rishi with.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, literally the 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵 surviving by what, like single, like a 1 HP, 2 HP. I forgot what it was. It's like 0.6% or something like that. So insanely tight game. But you're so right. I like how Gromi is utilizing Obi. Bush is almost a staple, but the Digi-Threat is something you add when you have some mental allies to your side, and he has that in strides, right? 3 mental Temtems. And okay, looking at a different game plan here for Rishi. I believe he started off with the Grandpa last turn, so maybe he's trying to deal with the mental Temtems a little bit faster than the previous game.
So both players have different first bans here. So Gromi doesn't have Cycrox this game, and Rishi doesn't have 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵. Now, if I know very little about triple mental Digi-Threat Doom teams, but I would imagine that bait 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵 being banned out is better for Gromi than Acronox, but we'll find out, right? Because Gromi chose to take the Acronox over the 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵 and almost won game 1 based off that. So there might be something about this Acronox that we don't know is going on here.
Yeah, perhaps just trying to make it trouble with, what Gromi's game plan has been in the past. It's kind of been swapping in and out a lot. So perhaps the Acronox simply with the Cobweb trait, right? Locking out those Temtems for that following turn, maybe kind of puts a little bit of a damper on that game plan just because he can't utilize the swapping in, swapping out to eat those techniques. So maybe just simply the trait is punishing enough, but we'll see. We'll see indeed.
That was a really fast draft. So we see that Gromi is going to actually have Tyrannek and Pocus in this game. Didn't have those in game 1. And Rishi going with a more similar backline. We did see the Obi-10 getting banned out second phase there.
Yeah, after these guys experienced each other's team in that game 1, they knew exactly what the biggest threats were. So respect to both these guys. 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗵, as you mentioned, the Obi-1 over here on Gromi's side. But all right, let's go ahead and hop into the secondary game 2 of our quarterfinals. Acronox 𝗂𝗪𝗀 going toe-to-toe against 𝗵𝗵𝗶 and this Arachnite. Oh, and the Arachnite already going to be hitting the back line in for the Tyrannock, the other mythical Temtem on Gromi's team.
Yeah, this is really interesting because, you don't build a team like the one Gromi has if you don't have a plan to beat 𝗂𝗪𝗀 turn 1. So let's see what the plan is. Here comes Sting. Oh, a nice read there from Rishi. Just going to follow it up. It looks like the Diffused is going to be covered here by the Cobweb. And Zombie just strangles. Okay, not in any particular rush to deal damage, I guess.
Yeah, he could have gone... Well, we actually haven't seen a Matter Teleport. If I'm remembering correct, I don't think we've seen it yet. So he could have gone for straightforward damage of the 𝗂𝗪𝗀. But maybe just in case he had to bring in the Tyrannock and he did go for Sting, I believe this play is so that Venom Spread can't obliterate the Tyrannock, right? Because after this 1 turn of Strangle, the Tyrannock no longer... Or what was that?
Big thing 2+ is frightening Tyrannock. So this 𝗂𝗪𝗀 is overexerted because Adrenaline Shot got blocked.
Wow, you're so right.
So he gets to attack here. This is Handcuffs Tyrannac? No, it's not. Okay, this is a Plague from the Tyrannac. So this is Plague, probably Extinction. Extinction would be online this turn in that case.
Oh, that could be it, right? I wouldn't put it too past it. This is a Doom Center team, so Extinction most likely going to be applied on any of these Temtems. But does that mean the Volgon also receives a Doom? It does, right?
I would imagine the Tyrannac is Talisman, so probably not. However, if you're Gromi, you've got to watch out, because Diffuser could be coming in to take away that Talisman. Be careful.
Oh, and look, exactly as you said, 𝗬𝗧𝗺𝗶𝗵 will be going first, applying that Diffuser Siege trait, so that Talisman might be a little bit outraged, but the Toxic Spore is going to be finishing the job on the Tyrannox. So before the Extinction even goes off, it looks like Rishi caught a little bit of an idea how to handle this team. You just need to take down Temtems ASAP and perhaps neglect the Cycrocs in the pick and bans, because that's how Gromi had a whole lot of tempo early on, was just those Waste Waters back to back to back. So this is looking like a whole different play ball here, or playing field for Rishi.
Yeah, it definitely looks a lot more favorable, right? Like, Rishi doesn't have the Adrenaline Shot on 𝗂𝗬𝗇 now, but Hasty Lunge is available, and Gromi just doesn't have great swaps into it, right? So there's going to be a lot of damage going into Gromi's Focus slot here. You see the Lunge come out. That's going to hang on, though. It's not going down right away, yeah.
Yeah, now not right away, but with the follow-up staying from this Acronox, locking in the Focus, I think Rishi... Oh, it looks like there's a first aid kit on this Focus, so recovering back up to 37%. The slowdown with the synergy will be sleeping the 𝗂𝗬𝗇 for this turn and the following turn, and then the Outburst is going to be making sure everything is immobilized for the following turn. You know, though, 𝗬𝗧, I'm not too sure how that is beneficial for Gromi, right? Because he's also not going to be progressing his board state this next turn. Oh.
You got me plus. I don't know either.
Oh, Dreaded Alarm. That's how.
There you go.
Yeah, we were wondering exactly what he had up in, up his sleeve, and it looks like a Dreaded Alarm Focus, 25% reduction. So that's kind of a nice little combo there with that, with the Outburst.
Yeah, it's a neat little chunk of damage. The 𝗂𝗬𝗇 did get slowed down as well, but I mean, the Hasty Lunge is still fast enough, and it's going to knock the Focus out right here. So, you know, 𝗂𝗬𝗇 and Acronox just kind of chilling out. Just kind of having a good time on this board, and Gromi all of a sudden down 2 Tems.
Yeah, you know, this is just a nod to the experience level of MrRishi, right? He's versed pretty much every single team there can be. This Gromi team, definitely a bit different than most Doom teams, but this is just so well done for MrRishi. Those adaptations in the pick and bans, it's showing off here in the secondary game. So well done. You know, I don't want to say a dominant performance, but Rishi hasn't even traded a single Temtem this round. Finally, he's going to be switching out his 𝗂𝗬𝗇 for the first time for the Tattoo, while the Acronox just going to be sitting tight, stinging the 𝗬𝗵𝗶, trying to lock it up. Does he at least get a Venom Spread the next turn? And it looks like the 𝗵𝗵𝗄 is going to be neglecting that game plan.
Yeah, this is super interesting. Like, Rishi is just kind of hanging out with this Acronox and, like, just kind of watching this Volgon, like, letting Volgon... This is a very low-impact Volgon, right? Like, it's not dealing a lot of damage, so we see... Rishi finally decides it's time to deal with it. Nice little Soil Steel damage into there, and the Tattoo could be following up. Oh, we see a Black Hole coming out first. Will this do much damage? Probably not. It's Fat Burner Zombie, I believe, right?
Yeah, Fat Burner it is. But does the Tattoo follow up and almost taking it down? But it looks like Rishi's gonna have to take another turn to try to do that same game plan. And you know, 𝗬𝗧, do you know if the 𝗵𝗵𝗄 ignores the outbursts, or it doesn't work that way?
It does. That's a heads-up play there from Gromi Momi. So Zombie will be free to attack here, and Rishi will not be. And we see the Strangle come out. Are we going to see double Strangle? Oh my god.
All right, but you know, I could almost see that with Dreaded Alarm Focus still being here, but the Strangles when you don't have any Doom applied, I just don't really see. I mean, it's kind of just holding tight but it's almost like just waiting for the inevitable, right? It's just coming in, just double resting, but now you're in the same exact position you were the previous turn without the strangles. But the only exception being is that little 1 or 2% damage that the strangles did, right? That's an interesting turn.
You would think so, Plus, but look at it this way. 𝗬𝗵𝗶 is way closer to their Battle Pass goal of Strangle 30 Tems in one tournament.
Absolutely. You guys know you always have to hit up those weekly resets challenges, right? But here we go. On a serious note, the 𝗬𝗏 trying to take down the Arachnite. But finally, Digi-Threat coming in with the synergy. That's going to be the first Doom applied this game. You know, is it a little bit too late? He goes for the Strangle on the Acronox rather than the 𝗬𝗏, though.
Yeah, just kind of trying to... Because this Acronox is like +3 speed. It's got a lot of stuff going on. It's very annoying. So, let's just strangle it. And could see a Cozy Net. Oh, there'll be a Plague instead onto the Acronox. Just a little chip damage.
Yeah, a little chip damage. Maybe trying to put it in the realm of a follow-up attack with the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 running out of HP, or rather out of stamina. But 𝗬𝗏 still has plenty to work with. Going out with the Held Anger, taking down the Arachnite here with the final Toxic Tick. So that is virtually every Temtem going down for 𝗬𝗵𝗶, down to the final two, the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 and the Volgon. I dare say it's a little bit too late. Look at the entirety of Rishi's team. The Acronox, 𝗂𝗀𝗶, Rotor at 100%, 𝗬𝗵𝗶 at 100%. You know, 𝗬𝗵𝗶 has done absolutely awesome in this tournament. But unfortunately, I do think his tournament run will be coming to an end, and Rishi is going to be continuing forward into those semifinals. Most likely, of course.
Yeah, you can see this is a game where like Rishi doesn't pick the 𝗏𝗏 in the back against the like Strangle Doom team, and all of a sudden, look how much damage this 𝗬𝗏 is dealing, right? Like, with the help of Major Slash and with the Nut Bar, it's super bulky. It's just sitting there taking all these hits. This zombie is going to clear the Doom off of it, so it just saved it from dying there. So that's kind of nice of 𝗬𝗵𝗶.
Oh, 𝗬𝗵𝗶 perhaps a bit tilted.
Yeah, GG.
Exactly right. GG. 𝗬𝗵𝗶, well played. I know you really put on a performance in this tournament, so nothing to be upset about. GG indeed.
Got the double toxic spec. Whoa, look at all these toxic Tems that Miees is bringing here. A little quad toxic. I mean, 3.5 toxics. 𝗬𝗏 is a fake toxic. It can only apply 1 tick per turn. Fake toxic Tem.
So true. I mean, toxic nonetheless. But oh, you know, this might be like a game 3 situation unless game 1 took forever. What are you thinking? Does it sound like a game 3? It almost seems that way.
It seems like it could be. Like, it's very early on in the game, so I would imagine it's probably a game number 3, right? Like, this is only turn 3 of this game, so there you go.
It has to be, right? We watched 2 entire games from Rishi and Gromi. So yeah, I'm willing to bet this is a game 3 situation. So thank you, Szax. Let's go ahead and lock that in. 1 game apiece. So one of these tournament runs will be coming to a conclusion. And we're catching it nice and early, so trying to catch up to speed. It looks like the Skunch received the Purgation, most likely from the 𝗬𝗏, getting himself up 50% increase on those next attacks. And I guess the same can be said about the Garunder. But I guess it was a P-Jab that brought down the defense, most likely, huh?
Yeah, it looks like P-Jab to turn on Slingshot, turn 1, and then Oshidashi into the Gulder that came in on turn 2. And that's kind of sort of where we're at. Perhaps here. And then it looks like an Urushiol was thrown on the Skunch. So here comes the suplex. This will probably KO the Gulder. Yeah, down it goes. But the Skunch looks like it's out of gas now. The overexertion coming in and the toxic ticks. Probably enough. Oh, and the heat up. So one of the things you have to watch out for with quad toxic is people doing stuff like heating up in your face. But the perfect jabs are nice here. Like, I really like the way Miees is using this Mashuk to kind of soften things up. Makes things a little bit easier for this Turok in the back, or even the Garunder or the 𝗏𝗏 to come in and deal some damage to this 𝗬𝗏.
I think so as well, right? Effectively a 100% decrease on those defenses, and 𝗬𝗏 naturally already a bit of a squishier Temtem, so yeah, one little Feather Gatling should take it all the way down, or even some uppercuts, right? I believe even like a little helicopter kick, probably doing half of the remaining HP as well. And the 𝗬𝗏 doesn't really have too much damage on the Mashuk to try to follow up that oncoming damage. So this is looking good. I think it's looking good for Miees. Perhaps a little bit of a greedier heat up as it does go down to defense -4. But if you save it for down the road, maybe coming in clutch. I say that, but of course, there's a whole lot of toxic temps. So how much can 𝗧𝗵𝗺 really do?
So the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is quite nice into the toxics. Like, it's very good into 𝗬𝗺 and 𝗧𝗵𝗺 because it can heat up into Lava Wave, which is pretty strong damage. But it's very tough to deal with 𝗬𝗏, and the Skunch is overexerted. This reads to me like it's kind of a low stamina investment on the Skunch, but coming back later in the game be pretty good. This is a nice roller swap in. It's just, yeah, Szax just doing the pivoting, kind of trying to get in front of the damage that's incoming here, and we'll see if Miees picks up a read. And yes, we do see the swap out. This is a decent 𝗧𝗏𝗺 board. And what's our 𝗬𝗵𝗶 doing? 𝗬𝗏𝗺 all spreading ticks. Good read from Miees.
Exactly right. 50% worth the ticks with that toxic synergy from the 𝗧𝗏𝗺. So well done. I believe this is his game plan. A little bit similar to 𝗬𝗶 kind of team, to 𝗬𝗂𝗽𝗽 type of team, where they kind of utilize the toxic ticks to perfection, right? Little by little, they soak up the damage with their tankier Temtems, and then those toxic ticks end up doing the job. And taking a look at the 𝗬𝗏𝗺, it looks like it does have Strange Vest, but it doesn't really matter where most of the damage will be applied with those toxic ticks. You know, I like Szax's strategy here of trying to retreat those big damage dealers for a little bit down the road. And if you could try to take down some of these HPs relatively into that orange/red pool for Miees' Tems, then Skunch and 𝗧𝗵𝗺 could come in at the very end and try to clean things up. So I do like that from Szax. But let's see, I mean, trying to take down these bulkier Temtems into that halfway or even more is a whole lot easier said than done, of course.
This is an interesting swap, just going back to the 𝗬𝗏. It looks like the Resin Trap is going to go the other way. So just trying to maybe get a trapped in overexerted Tem. But we'll see what Miees does here. Is this Wastewater? It is into the Strange Vest, so not the most damage there. It won't go down. And here comes the Roller Drill Impact, also targeting the Shook. So it looks like just trying to prioritize dealing with that Mashuk. And on the other side, this 𝗬𝗏, well set up to continue the fight here. Does quite well into most of what Szax has left. Although they have to be careful that they save Turbine, lest they be outsped by the Skunch 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗃. That could be very bad.
Oh, and the 𝗬𝗏𝗽 outspeeding. I thought it was going to go for like a plague on the 𝗬𝗏 with the Hypoxia, more than enough to bring down the Mashuk. But the Turbine, as you mentioned, going after the Hypoxia, which is insane how speedy that 𝗬𝗏𝗽 is. But oh, that is a thick skin rotor, so not even doing like 12% there.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, I guess it didn't really matter, but this is quite bad for Miees. Now the Skunch can come in, and there's like pretty much no way to outspeed it. So 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗃 is gonna do some pretty strong damage here. Oh, but we will see the 𝗂𝘀 instead. Interesting.
Yeah, I like what you said, 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗃, but perhaps fearing the second slot being 𝗧𝗏𝗺, maybe Narcoleptic Hit was indeed online, and he could trade 1-for-1, which wouldn't have been that bad, even if the 𝗬𝗏 swapped out a defense -2 on that Garundr. I think the 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗃 could have had a decent shot bringing it all the way down. I know a little tall task to ask for, maybe not all the way, but virtually kind of close. But alright, looks like he's heading for the Rocky the 𝗬𝗏 now, and we're gonna find out if this is Iridescence, but never mind, that's just gonna be neutral either way.
I would imagine it's probably, I guess they're not going to find out, but it's a very bulky 𝗂𝘀, very high HP, and not so much damage from Miees. This is quickly trying to kind of getting out of control here, as you can see with these toxic teams, and the enemy starts to build up momentum, build up speed. It's kind of hard to just chill out and spread your ticks. Will be Acid Reflux up here, but the Roller just kind of gets to T-pose, and the 𝗬𝗏, once it's gone, it's all over but the crying, as 𝗧𝗵𝗺 will be able to deal a ton of damage.
I think so as well, but can this 𝗧𝗵𝗺 hold on to that back line? We'll find out down the road, but there we go. Turbine does bring out the 𝗬𝗫𝗀, or the 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗫 named 𝗬𝗫𝗀, but it looks like not even waiting for the Toxic to take the Acid Reflux will be more than enough, and that was before the 𝗧𝗲𝗺𝗫 did anything that turn, but the Drill Impact probably taking down the Turok just so the 𝗧𝗵𝗺 has a whole lot easier time, but it did come at a decent cost, but not too much, but at least just overexerting right there.
Yeah, now it's just sort of a numbers game here. 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is kind of uncontested. It could take a narcoleptic hit here, but not a lot of other stuff that can really be done to damage it.
Yeah, you know, I'm just wondering because the only technique that's going to be neutral damage, or actually I believe Lava Wave is also neutral, but just Wastewater, right? Just preserve a little bit more of the stamina and just try to take down. I mean, if you were Szax East, where are you targeting first? Are you thinking about the 𝗧𝗵𝗺? Because I'm always hesitant with that trance trait.
I think if you're Szax here, you probably want to leave the 𝗬𝗫𝗀, which is -1 defense. Go ahead and let your, ninja jutsu from 𝗬𝗵𝗆 bring it down. Let the Boulder bring it down. Like, there's effective damage there. I'm confused. The 𝗧𝗵𝗺 should probably target the 𝗬𝗫𝗀 here. Just try to get them down to 110 as fast as possible. But we do see it goes the other way instead. Lava Wave does pretty solid damage. Oh, and we see a stare. That's going to be really interesting for next turn if this thing has Water Jet as it purgations itself. Huh. That's an interesting line of play from Miees there. Not in a super big hurry to spread damage. Just going for the purgation and then trying to maybe score a Piezoelectric blow here into the 𝗧𝗵𝗺.
Yeah, I believe that's exactly what he has in mind. Here we go. Piezoelectric blow from 66%. Whoa, all the way down. That is exactly what that minus defense was applied for down the road. So 𝗧𝗵𝗺 honestly didn't really accomplish as much as I would hope for if you're rooting for Szax, but the Rockfall gonna be doing some good chunk of damage, and now it overexerted. So wait a minute, Szax was looking so spectacular early on, but now when it comes down to the end game, it looks like it's falling a little bit short. He has to do a whole lot of damage on this 𝗧𝗵𝗺, but you can only kill one Tem, right? You either take down the Garunder or you take down the 𝗧𝗵𝗺, and then one of the other Temtems were going to be taking you down. So it comes down to Rotor, which is -2 defense. Funny enough, guys, I think Miees might have squeezed this one out, but maybe I'm mistaken. What are you saying, Ys?
I'm not sure. This kind of comes down to a whole bunch of stuff. Like, can LSD actually do damage to Rotor that isn't Toxic Ticks? Does it have a narcoleptic hit? Because Toxic Ink will kill 𝗬𝗃 from here. And 𝗬𝗃, in retaliation, 𝗬𝗃 has to kill Garunder. Otherwise, Garunder is going to kill it and then kill the Rotor before it can attack. So let's see. The Ninja Jutsu targets the Garunder. And I think that should be good enough for the Acid Reflux. There's going to be a big overexertion here. Really interesting. It's not enough to KO the Rotor. I think that means that Szax should have this now.
I think, but wait a second. The trance trait still gets to apply because I don't think the Rotor has a single attack to deal 34%, right? We're looking at what, a Goring to do the majority of that damage. 34% on a bulkier Tem like 𝗧𝗵𝗺, that might be a little bit too much to ask for. But if you do Goring into something like Held Anger, if he does run it, maybe that is a way. We did see Rockfall already, so here we go. Goring 34, it does hang on. The trance trait does indeed apply, so I think Miees could squeeze it out, especially considering that the first aid kit does indeed proc. So look at that, guys. 𝗧𝗵𝗺 hanging on, and it looks like he should be taking it down.
Oh, a snowball in the south. So there's a small play there where Szax went for Rockfall to try and bring down the Garunder, and I think if he goes for Stoneball instead there's a pretty decent chance that the Garunder dies. And